Hey guys, welcome back. Turbo2 here today with a new video. Another Ghost of Tsushima video today. Today I went a little off the rails and we're taking a look at an absolutely insane archery build that I made. And to build this, you'll need Tadiori's armor. It's a mythical armor from pretty early in the game. I think it's usually, for most people, the first mythical anything that you do. And the reason I put this together is because most people, I think myself and pretty much anyone I've talked to, would usually just forego using the bow in almost any situation over just using normal combat. You know, the bow's not as fun, it's not as satisfying, it's not really the samurai way. There's not a lot of bowing in this game usually. But once you get Tadiori's armor, I'm going to show you the build here. So this is the armor maxed up. It makes your knocking and reload 30% faster. And if you headshot, your concentration fills back up. Increases the concentration time as well. And then I went full charms in all the rest of my slots for archery. I decided to swap out one of the knocking and reload speed ones for damage instead. But you could really go either way with that. I just wanted more damage because the armor itself already increases the knocking and reload. And then I have an arrow, silent, and impact for a major charm. I don't have any other archery major charms. There might be more in the game that I'm missing. But this is everything I have right now. So we are fully built into archery. So using this armor, you can basically just skip over any needs for combat at all and just sit back with the bow. Keep your thumb on circle for rolling around because they are going to run at you. But you can draw so fast with a short bow. I also have my half bow, my longbow maxed. The longbow is one off of max in this video actually. It's not fully maxed, but the short bow is. So with that and all the damage buffs, you can actually kill most of these big enemies in 2 and a lot of the smaller ones in 1 or 2. And it makes it pretty easy. The main thing you just have to focus up on, and that I was forgetting about in the beginning because I'm just not used to the bow, is that in late game like this, the enemies, a lot of them have metal helmets and like metal face guards, sort of things like that, and you can't headshot them unless you're using the longbow. So if you're using a half bow and you go for a headshot, this guy doesn't have one, he'll go down, but then this guy, he does, so you have to go to the knees instead. Another guy without one, back to the head, and the dog as well. But for anyone with a metal face mask, you can't headshot them or really do anything to their upper half at all if you're using the half bow. But if you're using the full bow, the long bow, then you're completely fine. And same goes for any of the like modified arrows as well. Here we use a flame arrow, and this guy's a face mask, so if you just kind of center him, it still works. But you will find yourself bouncing a lot of arrows off of people if they have a helmet on and you can't tell. It's a little hard to tell sometimes from far away with a half bow because you don't get the zoom. But for a general rule, I would say engage with like the first guy or the first couple guys using the longbow, because just in case, that way if you are trying to headshot them from far away, you can't tell, it will still kill them every time. The longbow, if you're headshotting, will kill them every time, especially with these kind of charms on as well. And here I'm starting to run low, so I'm just kind of messing around with flame arrows as well. But as you can see, that was our first hit so far of getting hurt, and it was mainly because I got tagged from an archer I didn't know about. There's another one way back here as well. But besides that, there's not really much they can do. As long as you keep rolling, and as long as you have a good stack of arrows, especially when you're doing camps like this, there's arrows around, and when you're killing people, they're dropping arrows as well. And you can basically just run right through these places without being damaged at all. Here's one of the examples of I tried to shoot this guy with a half bow and he had a helmet and I didn't notice. So I can just shoot him in the body and he'll die in 1, which is probably what I should have done. Most of the archers are extremely weak. But because he blew his horn, we've got the entire Mongol force here coming for us now. But usually here, even with a sword, this would be a bit much. This is a lot of guys at once. But with this bow build, it's actually not that bad. Like, a lot of the heavy guys you'll see don't actually get the full face helmet, so you can shoot them in the head and then like just like that. And then these smaller main guys don't have to worry about there because I'm in slow-mo. I got a headshot, it fills my bar back up thanks to the Tadiori armor, and then you can just start legging these more advanced enemies here. As long as you keep good separation, because obviously you don't have a lot of health or anything like that because all your charms are arrows and your armor is arrow. But you can just sit back like this. If they're in the long grass, you might as well light them on fire, and you can just kind of go to town. It's also really easy if you just, you know, with big shielded enemies like this, with the concentration, you can kind of just wait for an opening. Like, even if they're up really close, as long as you hit like any part of skin, you'll be good to go. So that I believe the arrow damage is just a static value, so as long as it's like anywhere on the body, it'll do the same. So you can kind of shoot legs, shoulders, elbows, anything that's showing at all. And that's pretty much it. Like, this is what, there's like 10 people rushing me at once, and you can just bow them all down. It's pretty nuts actually when you use it like this. Like, these are the hardest enemies I can find. They're the best around, and they're basically useless to the bow from this sort of a style. The killing speed is extremely fast. You can also just stagger like one specific guy. Like, this guy's all alone, and even though he's got lots of health, you can just riddle him with short arrows. You can knock them up so fast, and there's not really much you can do. You can just kind of stun lock, stagger him, and he's dead. So if you're looking for sort of to mix it up, I guess, the Tediore armor in my mind was pretty useless and probably like the most necessary armor. Like, I never used it. I never had an interest in the bow at all. I still probably won't at all, but it was fun to do for while I did for this video. I thought it was pretty easy. It's almost like broken easy, so I probably won't bother doing it. But you know, when you can literally ride into a camp on the horse, kill the entire camp without getting off the horse, and then leave, I think it's a little broken, especially on like a end game camp. I mean, this guy's a quarter-mile away, and there's the guy with the helmet, so you just longbow him in the head. You get your slow back. This guy gets a longbow in the head, fills my slow back up. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, that's a brute, and you can just, you know, slowly ride on into town and bow down all your enemies and ride on out of town. It's really not that difficult. So Tediore's armor maybe is useless for most people, but if you're looking to mix it up, I would recommend you give it a try. It's definitely fun. It's almost too easy to be that fun, but it is nice to just roll in and fucking slay everybody in a whole town and leave. But this is a good spot here for the explosive arrow as well, because you do start to run out of long arrows pretty fast. But I did these all in a row, of course, so it's a little hard to get arrows back when you're just using them up as fast as you get them. But this is basically it. You can just sit on the horse and riddle guys. This guy has a helmet, so a couple arrows in the legs, like even for a heavy enemy, and he's just done in one. That guy's done in one. And then I think I get tagged here by like an arrow, and it doesn't even really matter. There's the first hit, knock me off my horse and send this guy straight to hell. And that's pretty much it. So this has been the Tediore armor bow build. This is everything stocked up straight into the bow, and it's definitely a viable build. I wouldn't really think to do it, but I mean, you could breeze through this game if you wanted to, doing the bow build, even on a much higher difficulty. The fact is, you just don't get hit. Like, you can just keep rolling. No matter what damage an enemy does, he doesn't hit you, it doesn't really matter. So this has been the Tediore bow build. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you want to see more Tsushima videos, I have a couple more on the channel and some more down the line as well. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.